it's over, let it go. 52 times a year, the week is done and over with before you know.
Thank you very much indeed. Hello, good evening and welcome. I am David Frost and That Was the Week That Was. Finally, after 60 years, the third series has finally arrived. After the first two series were cruelly cancelled by the BBC and the then Tory government of Harold Macmillan. And first to the big news story this week. This week the BBC announced that a researcher disguised himself as a car seat in a study. Yes, it seems that some people will try anything to avoid a speeding ticket. This week, little Rishi Sunak decided to pitch the UK as the geographical home of AI regulation at a tech conference. As far as we're concerned, you might as well give the killer robots a bloody map, Sunak, so they can come and kill all of us. So let's continue with the diary of a wimpy Prime Minister. Rishi Sunak sent out Michael Gove to repel a Boris Johnson blast this week. The wimpy Prime Minister said, "I'm not very strong, so I sent out Michael Gove to give Boris Johnson a good thrashing." We heard in Devon that 8 stagecoach bus drivers were jumping out of a plane. Now they know what we feel like when we get on one of their bloody buses. Yes, it's all happening in Devon. Exeter's pothole roads are so bad they're like the surface of the moon, reported Devon Live. Little known fact is that Exeter was where the fake moon landings were actually filmed. The Tories have a real talent for putting their feet in their mouths, don't they? This week, Grant Shapps said he voted for Brexit despite previously claiming he backed Remain. So don't vote for Grant Shapps at the next election, but just pretend you did. Fortunately, we can rely on our children to be the future of the world. Wales Online, there was a student who spun on her chair to help with revision, but was hospitalised with vertigo. In doing so, she invented a new version of the dog ate my exam paper. Honest. The Daily Mail was all over Ed Sheeran this week and said, "Oh, he's got some bottle." He took a step away from music as Ed launched his Tingly Ted's hot sauce range in a comical new advert. Yes, that's Tingly Ted, the hostile, thuggish, far-right libertarian bear. Is Tingly Ted based on Ed Sheeran himself? I think the bear's tingly because he's been inhaling too much laughing gas, though he doesn't seem to be laughing very much, does it? In the Mirror, we saw a man who found 3 severed heads on his desk after he complained to bosses about work. 3 severed heads on your desk. That's a bit passive-aggressive, isn't it? In Ireland's Sunday World, we saw Tony McGregor filming himself doing donuts around a billionaire's super yacht. Over now to our donut correspondent, the Duracell Bunny.
I did some donuts on the top deck of a bus last week, and all I got was a moustache of sugar frosting.
In Birmingham Live, Arnold Schwarzenegger revealed what he eats on an 80% vegan diet. Yes, Arnold is 80% vegan and 20% killer robot. Yes, it's the Veganator. A bemused brewer from Dorset this week hit out at a cheese firm, censoring the Cern giant's glory. No, Cern Abbas man's vintage cheddar isn't a hard cheese, more a flaccid one. David Attenborough and Professor Brian Cox were named this week as the most curious thinkers of all time. Yes, far-right libertarians' gang of curious thinkers are always thinking up fresh ways to destroy the planet. Curious, isn't it? Guardian revealed that UK public buildings are feared to be at risk of collapse as concrete crumbles. So, what's been crumbling? First of all, it was 99 flakes in ice creams. Then it was the Tory party. Now it's public buildings. What the hell is going on? And now let's transfer to Dylan Mulvaney. Bud Light loses the top spot in the US after the boycott following Dylan Mulvaney's involvement. Yes, Dylan is blowing Bud Light money in the wind. Good job, there's more than one Dylan, isn't there? The man of the moment is, of course, Donald Trump. He said boxes with classified documents had all types of personal belongings in them, such as watches, sex toys, guns, his marriage certificate to Melania, deodorants, well, maybe not deodorants. This week we were given a glimpse of the world's largest bonfire. A loyalist group said they have already spent £35,000 on pallets. Yes, indeed, we can now witness the far-right libertarian DUP's contribution to global warming. Yes, the world's largest bonfire. And may we recommend for a guy to put on top, Boris Johnson, of course. Yes, British pop music has had its fair share of Nazis. Metro News this week showed us the Rod Stewart, who admitted he's still a fan of charismatic Boris Johnson, despite the Partygate report. And by way of confirmation, in the picture there's Boris throwing a Nazi salute and Rod sporting his favourite black shirt. In the Wales Online, we heard a story. I cleaned the toilets at Glastonbury Festival last year. This is what I discovered. Get your CVs ready, everybody, it's June. Yes, folks, job of the year is up for grabs again, cleaning the toilets at Glastonbury Festival. Over in Belfast, we saw a life-size sculpture of the late Prince Philip unveiled in Antrim. Yes, there's Prince Philip still leaning to the right, and the one on the left, presumably, is Gromit. An AI scientist revealed this week that AI won't destroy jobs forever. So it's time once again for the diary of a wimpy Prime Minister. Someone has just said that fears of AI posing a threat to humanity were preposterously ridiculous. Well, would you believe it? Some people are saying that I'm preposterously ridiculous too, and that's just not true, is it? In Birmingham, there's a man with Philip Schofield's face tattooed on his bum, but he has no regrets. Well, I suppose it's better than having Philip Schofield's bum tattooed on your face. The Manchester Evening News gave us the 5 ways Boris Johnson misled the Commons over Partygate. If you look at the picture, yes, Boris is actually quite bald. Indeed, his hairdresser deserves a bloody medal, doesn't she? An ice cream man was delighted this week when footballer Erling Haaland boarded his ice cream van. Yes, the lucky ice cream man got a bit of a scoop, didn't he? Return of the Red Plume roared the obsequious express when Princess Anne stepped out in the very hat that blocked Harry at the coronation. Yes, everything is well with the Express's world. Princess Anne is wearing the correct hat. It beats her old one into a cocked hat, doesn't it? So what do people in Devon do for entertainment? Devon are hosting the world record for the fastest bath of baked beans. The bath will be filled with 30 litres of baked beans, and they have local police to clock the top speed of the cart, thereby confirming that people who say the police are too busy to deal with crime are completely mad. The Mirror showed us an unedifying picture of Rishi Sunak laughing with his hands in his pockets as he watched a London immigration raid. So it's over to the diary of a wimpy Prime Minister. I enjoy a good laugh when I'm protected by police. I like to impersonate Gestapo officers at home in the mirror. Guardian revealed that the Cabinet Office has refused to release Boris Johnson's notebooks over security concerns. At TWTW, we ask, are those the notebooks covered in gold wallpaper with a pencil that goes down the spine which has a rubber in the shape of a teddy bear or a penguin? The Sunday Times baseballed itself into a frenzy this week. Rampant Joe Root comes to England's aid with a century on the opening day of the Ashes. It cried, yes, Joe Root, rampant and difficult to get out, the Japanese knotweed of batsmen. In the Metro, we heard about an American woman who scuba dived more than 500 times, who finally lost a leg to a shark in the Bahamas. Indeed, I used to like fishing, and yes, sometimes I must have thrown bait in the water at least 500 times before getting a bite. Whilst in the Telegraph, the Police's Stuart Copeland crowed, the Super Bowl ad earned me 6 figures for just 60 seconds. Yes, this is the Daily Telegraph speaking, the newspaper that boasts how much the rich can earn while going bust itself. Another reason why the Telegraph is getting worried. The rich are fleeing Britain. We must stop the exodus now, they scream. Yes, apparently the rich are fleeing Britain in luxury cruisers supplied by oligarch people smugglers. Prince William is busy trying to earn an OBE. In the Mirror, he said he spent a night sleeping rough outside a London tube station 14 years ago. Yes, he's got up in the world, hasn't he? Well done, William. If the truth be known, he actually slept outside a pop-up tube station next to Buckingham Palace, where his butler brought him breakfast in his sleeping bag. Indeed, William gives virtue signalling a dirty name, doesn't he? Well, this has been David Frost on That Was the Week That Was. So goodbye, good evening, and see you next week.
That was the week that was. It's over, let it go. 52 times a year. The week is done and over with before you know.